So what we are doing out here is exploring some recently collected mapping data of the Blake Plateau and other southeastern regions here. Years and years ago, folks thought it was relatively flat, sandy, muddy, and recently we've really been able to recharacterize this place with some really modern multi-beam data as well as modern deep submergence work, and we're discovering some really fascinating features, some escarpments, some coral mounds.
Looking into these coral mounds is actually a really unique situation because we're looking at how geology and biology meet together. And this is impactful because it takes possibly millions of years for these mounds to develop.
We found 2 new lophelia reefs that nobody knew existed before. We went up the mound, and on the top were these gorgeous lophelia mounds with living coral and just this huge habitat.
These can be areas where you can have breeding of commercially important fish species. We know there are areas and hotspots of biodiversity. Some of these corals and sponges can have biomedical implications.
Some of the stuff that we get to see firsthand is sometimes the first time that anyone has ever gotten to see it. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts of being on this ship.
We have found a couple, we think, possible new species, and the fact that we can share it with the world is super cool.
Overall, I've loved seeing all of the different associated biologies because learning about all the different kinds of corals that there are, different mechanisms, different DNAs, different clades, has definitely been a highlight that you can experience through a textbook.
The other day we saw a sea spider that had babies. I've never seen that before, and I don't know if that's ever really even been filmed. It was so exciting.
For me, the coral garden was one of my favorite things. That's mapping data that's just a few weeks old. And we dove on it, and we saw these dense aggregations of black corals and bamboo corals and all sorts of sponges. Some of these black corals, they could be thousands of years old. We also conducted one dive in support of our other federal agency partners, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management and the United States Geologic Survey. This was an area that had some experimental deep-sea mining technologies associated with it in the 1970s. Understanding how these types of extractions impact the benthic environment is a real critical piece of information for us, because as we look forward to identifying critical minerals in the future, it's not just where we have these ecosystems, it's how do these ecosystems change over time. You can't manage what you don't know. And so really, in order to manage the North Atlantic and all the wealth it gives us, especially towards things like a blue economy, commercial fishing, tourism, potential resource extraction, you need a collaborative approach. And so one thing Aspire, our current campaign, is trying to do is recognize the Northern Atlantic as a shared resource between a variety of nations and groups. Really, our end goal out here is to provide authoritative, nonpartisan scientific data to those who are in positions to make those types of decisions.
There's so much left to explore and so much left to discover, and I think it's something that we can really work towards and be something very proud of that we are able to accomplish.